I know we're about to go live, Gemma, but Karen's had a happy post.
Put your phone down. Put your phone down. We're about to go live.
It's like
Pack
working
it
with
in.
my mother. Put it down.
Such a menace.
Sorry.
Such a
Sorry.
menace.
Ooh. Yes. Good morning. But she has. All of her beautiful posts has arrived. Oh, I do like a bit of happy post. I love it when all these things arrive. And that is gorgeous. And you see, and now look, and a picture of Lo's grandcat. It's going to say grand pussy. It's beautiful.
We now have a show to do, though, Chief.
Yeah, I know we do. I know.
Yeah.
But it's very gorgeous.
That thing.
Super gorgeous.
You know,
Right, shall we do
actual
that?
work. Yeah.
So today, welcome. We have got this rather stunning quilt. Now, this is by Lisa Chandler, lovely Lisa Chandler. You can either do this as the whole quilt. You can mix and match it through with your Oriental Baltimore if you took part in that. You can just take blocks as and when they tickle your fancy and make a cushion or a bag or anything else out of it. It's entirely up to you. Or like I'm going to do, make the whole shebang. Technical term.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've had a lovely time starting the parasols this weekend and it's been gorgeous. What is beautiful about these is they are what I call heirloom pieces. These are going to go through the families. They're going to be, it's one of those things that, you know, your kids and your grandkids, they will remember hanging on your wall or whatever because they will want to touch it.
Yes.
That you just will, because you want to ruffle the crane's feathers. You're going to want to go up underneath the parasol.
Yeah.
All of that. All of that.
Clang the gong.
Clang the gong. Oh. Right.
The one that you were thrusting at the postman.
I did thrust at the postman. I did. Yeah.
That sits in a beautiful position on you when you hold that quilt as well.
Okay, so the story goes. This was sent from Australia quite some time ago and then didn't arrive. And it was part of a consignment of 2 boxes and the other box arrived. Well, now as grateful as I was that the other box arrived, this is irreplaceable as far as I'm concerned. Like we can send other bits of fabric over bolts of fabric, that's fine. But this, the hours and hours and hours that have gone into this is not replaceable. Or the other quilt that was in the box with it.
Truth.
We finally track it down. And it's at Parcel Force somewhere. And they're saying, well, you know, the customs hasn't been paid on it. Well, you need to tell me. You need to tell me, not to mind read. You need to actually let me know. So I pay it. They deliver it. But not to us.
No.
No. No. Pick a business park. Any business park. It's like Business Park Lottery. That's what it was. Business Park Lottery. And then, obviously, I have to then chase Lisa. Poor Lisa in Australia is feeling completely useless because she's like, I sent it.
I spent a lot of time on that.
I put the same address that I put on everything. I'm like, it's not you, Lisa. It's me. Or us. So yeah, we had all of that fun and shenanigans. And of course I'm feeling awful because this is like the quilt. And this is our show for the next 10 months. No stress, no pressure there then at all. Yeah. So then we finally our postman comes back off holiday and he's like, yeah, no, I know where it is. The hours I've spent on the phone to everyone denying any knowledge or anything. He's like, no, I know where it is. They've just taken it to the wrong business
He knew
park.
exactly what they'd have done, didn't he? He's
so
good
off we
as
went.
gold, bless him.
Brought it back. Boxes opened, everything's been taken out, but it's fine. So I whip this quilt out and I'm going, it's this is the important bit. And of course, this is
Isn't
right
it
here.
Fabulous. Thrust.
And this is flapping about all over the place. So, yeah, I did that. Yeah, he looks about 12. I've probably damaged him for life.
Bless him.
You were just laughing in the background.
Yeah, hilarious.
That's all I could hear.
Lovely. It's normally me that makes an idiot of myself in front of the postman.
Oh no, it's completely my domain as well. So
Rebecca Johnson's with us, and she
Morning,
says,
Rebecca.
"Morning, ladies. Do I need any more projects? Yes.
Yes, of course you do.
This one you do.
Of course you do. Yeah, no, I've spent my weekend doing this. It's been really rather lovely. Every now and then I've had a little pick up and stitch.
Don't you think though that this is one that can run alongside life? just can run alongside life
Yes, it
because
can.
you've got some lovely hand stitching to do.
There's all sorts of goodies in here, and it's really tactile
And it's
too.
very happy to be picked up and put down
Yep.
and worked at your own
Yep.
pace.
All
This
of
is
that.
your constant companion
Yep.
when
Yep.
you've got to sit and do something tedious, you know, like
Watching
go to
football.
Oh, I went to a sixth form higher education evening not all that long ago. I wish
Did
I'd had
you?
it then. I could have sat stitching whilst listening to the really boring depths of how to do a UCAS application.
I've got parents' evening tonight. I'm not going to take this and we look interested.
No.
See how my little moppets are getting on.
But when you're in a massive room full of people,
Oh,
you could
yeah.
easily get away with a bit of stitching.
Sit at the back.
Hospital appointments.
Perfect. Perfect. All the
Holiday,
things.
Sat in the park while the kids are playing. Or one of those awful soft play places.
I don't go there.
Hours of your life get sucked out of you.
You don't get those hours back,
No.
Gemma. But what you do generally get is a cold or something
Agreed.
off the softball plays where some child has vomited, snotted, or
Correct.
done something vile in there. So no, we don't go soft play.
But if you do have to go, plonk yourself in the corner. Do this.
Outdoor play stuff, fine.
In the park.
Yeah.
Sit in the corner. Bit of
Fine.
stitching.
Perfect.
One eye on the
And
kids.
everyone's happy until you're made to, can you push me on the swing? No, I'm stitching.
Sorry, I'm
Keep up to
sewing.
it. No. No, no, no.
Sorry, kids.
I'm
stitching.
all the mean parent in all the world. I don't care. Should we say hello to everybody and then we will crack on, because today it is mainly this. It is... Oh, what's going on? Gemini, what's going on? Why is it not letting me...
Oh, I can read the messages.
You'll
if you
see a new
wish.
page experience in 3 days. I don't want to.
Oh,
I
no.
just want to see
Don't
my
claim that
page.
one.
What?
Just tell it you don't want to see the preview. It's all fine. I've had that this
Wait, it
morning.
wants to do it now. I want to get on with my show. It doesn't know about
Ooh.
it. Ooh, what? You see?
I have a lovely thing that says, I don't know what you've just done. It's telling me I don't have some permissions and that the profile is not linked to the delegate page.
Oh,
I mean, that sounds marvellous, doesn't it?
have I just wrecked everything?
I don't know whether you've just unlinked us from you. That might be a SJ problem to deal with.
Oh.
Oh, what have you done?
We
This is
don't
why
know.
Natasha should not be allowed near the technology, everybody.
Oh, no.
She's a menace.
It does say that I'm live now,
Okay.
and the
Perhaps-
captions are auto-generated.
Step away from the phone.
It just made me, you know, catch everything up. There we go.
Would you like me to read you stuff, or have you got them now?
Well, Sylv says they're just after a full frontal experience.
Yes.
Yes.
They got one.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes, yes. But that's why, hang on, John Carl Morgan. Morning, sir. Says why you never go through the side door like you're supposed. John. John. Yeah, thrusting my
That
flaps at the
particular
postman.
postman's good. He knows not to come through the front door.
He does.
He knows
He
always
does
to
know
go
not
around
to
the
come.
side.
He knows to come around the side door.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Morning, Alison. She's morning, everyone. Looks like I might have to succumb to temptation yet again. I mean, I haven't even started my way into Baltimore, but this one looks too yummy to resist. But the good news is, Alison, because you haven't started the other one yet, you can blend the two because they're the
Should you
same
wish?
size blocks, so you can merge the two. So it's all good. It's all good. Morning, Debbie. Morning, ladies. Oh, she says, you look beautiful today, Natasha. Thank you very much. Just a bit warm. Just a bit warm. You can't
Bit
wear
warm, isn't
jeans
it?
and stuff in this weather, can you? And I don't really do shorts. Not really a shorts kind of a gal. Right.
I've been wearing shorts. True
Good girl.
story.
True
Never have
story.
worn shorts, even when I was, you know, small. Because, I mean, I am small. Let's get that out there quickly before she gets a chance, everybody. But I've got a real thing about my legs. I have the knees of a Russian shot putter and have done since I was born. So I don't wear shorts. But this last couple of weekends, it's,
Yeah.
you know, been a bit warm.
Been
and
warm.
I went, I'm in my own garden. I'm amongst friends and family. Who cares? And so I went from owning one pair of shorts last weekend to
How many?
this weekend getting 2 more pairs.
Yay!
I've trebled my shorts ownership. I highly recommend it.
I'm going
This weather,
You need
it's
it.
really handy. You don't have the
Yeah.
inner thigh rub going on then, because that's no fun in hot weather, is it? No. So if I come into work with shorts on, no
I'm not going
judgment.
to laugh.
You'll know that you're in the inner circle. All of you.
Inner circle. How glorious. How absolutely glorious. So. Oh, good evening from a very flooded Maitland. Oh, Cass, we're very hot here today. Alison said that could be a huge quilt. Yes, it could be if you can buy the two. It would be humongous. But you might do it as like a big, like two. Yeah, which, you know, do it as a runner or something.
There's an early message I think you might have missed from Diane Basilmans, who says, "Good morning, all my new friends in England."
Good morning.
Bless you.
Here we are.
Hi.
Sorry,
This is a
John's just
beautiful sunny
considering
day.
you as a shot putter.
Nice. Yeah. It's a good look.
Do you know what? I regularly think that I might. Well, actually, I do. I'm not sure if I still hold the record at school, my old school for shot put. But I do think, because I'm throwing out the hay every night.
You're so competitive that if you don't hold that, you probably disguise yourself, go back
Go
in
back.
to have a throw just to make sure you get back in there.
Yeah.
John is shocked to see you in a dress. It's a jumpsuit, John. It's a jumpsuit. But it does look all the fabulous.
Just impressed I can get my leg up like that. That's it. That's all the exertion for today. It's way too hot for stuff like that. Elizabeth Krangle, good morning to you. Good morning, Brenda. Right, shall we have a look at this? There is an order, I was going to say an order of service, but as ever, there's an order in which to do things that is very clearly explained in your instructions. So, you will get your instructions like so. Although they'll be printed one-sided. Like so. Here we go. Because we know that when you get to this stage, you're going to need these. And you are going to cut these bits off. You can have those. Stick it together first before you go chopping them off. And there's your template at the back that looks like a broomstick. It's not. I guess it sort of is. And you will stick them all together like so, but just be aware that these bits are going to cross in the middle. So you stick or you join, it says A to A, B to B, all of that kind of shenanigans happens so that it joins like this, and this is your template that you will use. Now, if you do not have, can I find for the life of me where I've put mine? I've put it in a safe place, Gemma. Really safe place. Where have I put it? Your copy paper, charcoal copy paper, whatever you want to call it, dressmaking paper, all the stuff. I'm sure I've got it somewhere really safe. Because it would be great if I didn't have to open up another one, but I'm just going to open up another one. Here we go. This is going to be your saving grace. Oh, do you know what I found really worked with my scissors, Gem?
What's that then?
Well, so if you look on our site, it comes over the dressmaker's carbon paper. You know, my paper scissors were really, really bunged the other day.
Oh, yes.
And I was going to go and give them a quick sharpen with my sharpener. But I thought, no, I mustn't do that because they're so sticky. Sewing machine oil.
Oh,
a little
clever.
bit along there, then tuk 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 tuk, and it was all good.
Amazing.
And I've saved my scissors. Right. So this stuff is great. Here it is, and you use the colour that's going to show up most on your project. And we're going to use it for placement for now. So you will get your black fat quarter, fold it in half, quarter it, press it. You can see the lines on here where I've pressed it. Now that means that you can then use these marks, and if you fold it through where all of these join here, that's your halfway mark there. So in fact what I could do is line that up because I know that that's in the right place. And we're going to mark off where this goes. And you can see, look, everything's lining up. An absolute treat here. Okay, or, because look, that's where those ones go. And then you just use one or other of these to then mark off the third. Okay. Let's get those in place. That's going to go through the middle bit there. So you put your copy paper down. Now, you can use all sorts of things to press through. And I'm just checking I'm still in the right place with everything. That's still right in the middle. Yes, it is. You can use all the things in all the world, but if you have got one, and we will restock on these, one of these pens, oh, did you hear my shoulder crack? What you will notice is that as you flick round, I've got one, actually I need to refill my white, and then you've got one with a black lead, and then as you turn it around again, one without one. Now someone sent it back and said the biro doesn't work. No, it's not a biro. Is it, Gemma?
No, it's
not.
not.
It is not. It is better than that. This is a marker. And you are going to be able to mark the edges with this as to where everything is going to go. Okay? I mean, it really helps if you do it where your paper is. But actually, I can see on that one, I can see, look, I can see where I've done it. And that's just going to mark everything on. So I know that that's where my parasol will go, and I can put that back on there where I had these on here. And if I need to mark and go, yeah, my parasol can go on there. Then I can, helps if you actually put it around the right way. Oh, Gem, it's the heat. It's getting to me already.
Doesn't bode well for the day, does it? Or week?
There you go. Then I know that that's where my parasol needs to come off, so you get all your marks on there. Now, this is paper. Now, we print onto good quality paper, so it's going to take a bit of getting through. You know, so if this was just like 80 GSM copy paper, you'd probably press through that in no time at all. So, you know, just be aware of that, which means that with your templates, yes, you can absolutely use your paper, or you can, you've got all the colours you see here. It's great. I'm going to go for a dark one for my parasol. What you can also do is transfer with your onto, you can trace it off onto template plastic, and then when you want to transfer all the marks, you can just press a bit harder. Now, is that coming off on the blue? Do you know what the blue isn't? It's sometimes a bit harder, but it does mean that you can. I'm saying that. Is it coming through? Yeah, it is just starting to come through. Takes a little bit of work, but you can really work into that. Or if you want to, you can of course do it off this paper. Can you just see it's just starting to come through there? And what I would suggest you do is just go over it in something that you're gonna, you know, be able to use and see again later. That's a little bit more substantial. Let's see. Well, let's just see if this is better. Here, I mean, I've done that because you've got 3 to use. But let's see, Gem. I'm making these sweeping statements, but actually, would it be better with this? Let's see, shall we?
I love a parasol. Just as a complete aside, I was at the confetti fields in Wick on Friday.
Yes, you were.
Which is just beautiful. Fields and fields and fields of gorgeous delphiniums that are all then harvested to make gorgeous confetti.
And that's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Stunning. You know, and of course it's all biodegradable and everything else. Gorgeous, gorgeous. But they had a couple, I think it was 3, of beautiful vintage parasols hanging up as a display piece at the cafe area. And I just looked at myself, oh, gorgeous. The one in particular was all lace around the edges. And then another was, well, from somewhere beautiful in that there, Southeast Asia, and it was all hand painted. And
wow.
I just love a parasol. I think they're gorgeous. I was there with Vicky, and I said if they'd have been selling parasols, I think they'd have sold quite a few.
Well, you know, absolutely right. So the thing is, these are kind of going to, you're going to mark on, and it's sort of rough as to where you need them to be. And you can go back on and mark. Now I can see those. I don't know if you can. I can see it enough for me to go back through with my pen and put it on.
Oh, bless. Lisa Taylor's just gone, oh, parasols, I see it now. Ding, the penny dropped.
Ah! But there you go. So you can go back on and mark those lines on in there, because you do, like it or not, you do see them, because everybody does that. They lift it up.
Yeah.
Because you can see that. So it is one of those things.
Got to stitch them in.
Mm-hmm. You sure have. There we go. And that's that one. So I can just go over those lines that I marked. And I don't know how much of that you can see. It's faint, but it's enough for me. So it's kind of a bit of an all over show. What do we do first? So the first bit that has to go down, and by the way, when you store these, store them back with their tissue paper on there, because otherwise it rubs off on everything else.
That would be a right old shenanigan, wouldn't it?
Well, it's like it's like that kid at school, isn't it? That a bit like rubs off on everyone else. That behaviour. You know where that behaviour's come from. Right. So your copy paper, keep that to hand. Don't lose it like me, because you will regret it. So, you have choices, okay? You can make this and then and stitch it, do all the stitching, but actually I found, for me, it was much easier to make it and then stitch it onto here and then sew everything on. So I'm going to show you how I made it, because it's, here we go, and here we are. This is freezer paper. I'm just going to turn the iron on, Gem. I've forgotten to turn the iron on.
Lovely.
What is going on? So with freezer paper, it's absolutely fab. Now, you can if you want, just use your template, and you can sort of turn it under and all that kind of stuff. But freezer paper makes life so much easier. So we're going to show you how to get to that stage. Your template plastic, just bear in mind that you've got a rough side, and so the side that you want to press down on to draw round, you want that to be the rough side, so it's got that little bit of grip. In your kit, by the way, when you are purchasing, you buy the instructions separately. You've got your black thread, stranded embroidery thread, you've got your fat quarter of black, your fat quarter of it's the gold flowering gum. You've got postbox red bumbleberry, and then you've got some beautiful, beautiful small floral there from Lisa Chandler. So two Lisa Chandler, a Lewis and Irene, and a plain fabric in that bundle for you today. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. And this does use up quite a lot of it, because in the other kits we were really, really generous, but this, especially for this bit, does use up quite a bit. And also bear in mind that the red is double-sided. Double-sided, but you have plenty. You do have enough. It's all good. Now, let's have a look. Freezer paper. Why do we use freezer paper? For applique. Why do we use it? Why? Because freezer paper is fabulous for craft. It's also fabulous for wrapping your meats or your sandwiches or anything else.
Oh, that was loud.
It was quite satisfying, not gonna lie. Just check. I'm going to fold that in half and just check that my template will fit on it, folded in half. Yes, it will. Now, the thing with the thing with freezer paper is it has a plastic side on it and then a plain side. And the plastic side can be used to adhere to your fabric. Genius, right? And we use this an awful lot. But because of the technique that I use, whereby I use a little bit of starch spray on the edges that are being turned over, so it's a kind of needle turn plique if you like. If the edge of the freezer paper gets wet, it loses a bit of its rigidity, right? Yeah. So I double it up, which is fabulous, and you can easily do it. So you've got your shiny side, and you're going to put shiny side to matte side. And then, so on the bottom you've got matte side, shiny side, matte side, shiny side. And then you're going to whip out your Teflon pressing sheet. If you do not own a Teflon pressing sheet, use a non-stick baking sheet for this bit. It just needs to be non-stick, all right? And then you're going to apply the heat. So the plastic is going to adhere to the matte side of your second sheet of freezer paper, and you're going to double it up. So suddenly you've got some nice thick freezer paper to use as a template. So you're creating a template plastic that ain't going to melt. I've never tried that actually. I don't think it would be a great idea. And it's just far more resilient. And you can use this more than once. And it's really rather fabulous. Hi Claire, don't worry, sorry I'm late. Really nice quilt. It's one of Lisa's. We love it very much.
She's a clever old stick, isn't she, Lisa?
She is a clever old stick. Now just leave that to cool for a moment, and then you're going to peel it off. So the only reason we're leaving it to cool is just so that that plastic can melt back into the paper, and we're all good. That's all. Now, when we're looking at which way we're going to use our template, I've done this so that this is kind of the right way up. So I'm going to draw over it, because when I put this onto, I can peel this back now. There we go. Because that is going to be the front. This side here, the shiny side, is going to stick onto your fabric. So it's going to be as you look at it. Okay, so you might need a Sharpie or a pencil or something that's going to really work on this. And then around you go. Now, if you had our nice to have but not essential applique kits before, then you'll have a nice thin edged Sharpie. I don't know where Sharpies go in our house. Jim, do you have this?
Seriously ridiculous.
Like, where do they go?
Even in this
somewhere,
building.
Somewhere there must be a glut of Sharpie pens.
It's a good word, glut, isn't it?
And I'm really hoping that it's not in my daughter's bedroom. I'm not ruling it out. I'm not.
If she appears with some fabulous Sharpied on eyebrows at some point, you'll know.
I'll know. I know. I know.
Or if the cat appears with some fabulous Sharpied on eyebrows.
Also a possibility.
Yeah. If anyone's going to do it, it'll be Mims.
Oh, she's
Captain
a
Small.
monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gemma's just found me the perfect end of term
I have.
card. Which basically said, Gemma,
thank you for looking after my feral children.
Yeah.
Enjoy your summer.
yeah. Oh, and not killing them.
We're not killing them yet.
I think there was also that piece of gratitude in there.
Yes, there was. There was. It's always important to be thorough in these things, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I'm grateful. They've been a fabulous school for my children, actually.
They will go to another lovely school, however, soon.
They will.
As well.
They will.
With the best PE lessons ever.
I know, who has surfing as a PE lesson? I mean, come on. I might have actually wanted to do a bit of PE.
Yeah.
There you go. So then, you are going to get your beautiful golden fabric, and there's a slight direction. Does it matter? Only if it matters to you. Otherwise, no, not really. But just when you're putting it on there, make sure that you have got enough room around the edge for your seam allowance. So you can be a little bit frugal. There you go. And you see, what happens now is that plastic just gives you enough adhesion.
Perfect.
This is just such a great technique. Pinking shears are really useful. Just really useful for any of these. And then you're going to cut your seam allowance. Now you don't really need to pinky shear along that side, but it does make it easier around this side. And for some of the others as well, especially the inner of the parasol. So you're then going to snip up to there and then in the middle, up, in the middle, up, in the middle. Up to, but not almost up to. So on the peak and into the trough would be, but not right. Don't like cut into your template, okay? Now, if you did the Oriental Baltimore, you will have flatter spray. Hooray! And you will also have, what will they also have, Gemma? A paintbrush. Now, this is for why. And if you had the really useful but not essential,
the handy to have. We are hoping to bring some of those back.
Yeah. Then you will have a little cuticle stick.
You will.
If you don't worry about it. You can see I've already lost my paintbrush. Right. So you can go along there and apply a little bit of that. Now, the other thing that you can really use is this. Now we've got these on the show somewhere. Here it is.
The aqua
which
eraser.
Is the aqua eraser. Now normally you'd put water in there, and then if you've used a water soluble pen, you use that to lift it off. Perfect, happy days. But you can also use it to put flatter in.
Nice.
And you can get replaceable nibs if you want to. And basically you're going to squeeze it. So you fill it up like, do you remember the cartridges at school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember those?
Yeah. Ink cartridges.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't, if you're of a generation where you've been allowed to use biros, shock horror, then let me just empty that into that one. I'm going to go with pineapple because it's open, it smells fabulous.
Nice.
So you will insert into your jar of flatter and pull up that bit. That puts flatter in the chamber, okay? Zoop. And then, there we go. And then when you need to get some of that through to the nib, you just squeeze the sides, all right? And then what that means is that you're able to then go all the way. Now, why do we use a starch on this? Because, for two reasons. Fabric is far more malleable when it's wet, reason number one. So you can manipulate it and you can get it around all those curves really easily. The other thing that you're going to want to use is either that orange peel stick or whatever it's called. What's it called, Gemma? You're a beautician-y person.
Cuticle
That's it.
stick, or an orange wood stick is what we used to call them.
Yeah. Or
Did you need one?
this.
Ah.
No, this is absolutely fabulous. So here's what you're going to do. You are going to...
Oh, Fiona says, uh-oh, flight just been called, have to go.
Oh, have a
Wow.
fabulous time.
Good
Where's she
trip.
going? Where's she
Good
going?
trip, good journey. I don't know, she's quite often away with work, isn't she,
Oh,
Fiona?
yeah, she is. And you'll work out which way is easiest for you to do. But you basically want to, with the help of your stick, whatever you're using, just press that. Now, the starch spray is going to basically give you that ability to firstly make the fabric malleable, but then when you do decide that you're going to press it, it's going to keep it there. So you're giving yourself the best chance. And if, you know, if you get a little pointy bit, just wet it again. It's fine.
Marvellous.
That's the beauty of it. Or you can just do that and add a little bit of steam.
Gorgeous.
But it just means that where you actually start to apply it is... And can you see we're starting to get these curves on there?
Lovely.
Which is just...
And being responsible not to get it, you know, that there iron too close to your fingers.
Well, that is the thing.
Ginny had to leave early. She says,
Ginny.
sorry to leave early, heading out to find cool mats for the doggies. Exhausted with the heat, and that's 27 degrees inside with all the windows and doors open and blinds closed.
My naughty doggies chewed their cool mat.
Oh, mine won't lie on them. They won't lie on them.
No.
Susie went through a lovely phase of wanting to wee on them.
Amazing.
But no, they won't lie on them. However,
Is that because
Ginny,
Susie
if
weed
you
on
watch
them?
us back later, or if you are still with us, I bought them cool bandanas. They're made from, it's not neoprene, but it's something that retains the cold, and you rinse them under the cold tap and then wring them out and pop them round their neck, and it just keeps them cool around their neck and shoulders.
Perfect.
So they're really good. I got mine from that there Amazon.
Did you?
Yeah, cool bandanas. Obviously, in our case, in the smallest size they do. Because I have little tiny duckies.
Do you think
Naughty,
Maud would
naughty
like
dachshunds. I can't decide whether Maud would love it or whether she would howl in a dramatic fashion.
She does do both,
Yes,
often to show her pleasure and displeasure.
exactly. And
So
there's
it's
no
difficult to
calling
know
it.
sometimes.
No,
Yeah. It is tricky to know.
but they are clever. They are clever. We have them for when we're away in the caravan as well, just in case we have a warm day that we weren't expecting, because we tend not to take them away if it's going to be too hot. But sometimes, you know, the weather surprises you, doesn't it, and gives you a nice day.
Yeah. It's always a surprise when you get a nice day.
Claire Angelina says 25 degrees indoors today. Stuff the housework. Time for Natasha and team.
Yay!
Marvellous.
Right. So you can now see. There we go. And look, when I turn it over, like I didn't notice that that wasn't quite on point. So I can either go back in with my stylus and fold it over, or I can adjust it later with my needle, because it is needle turn, or if needs be, I can just damp it down a little bit and move it in. And all of that is fine. So you can see we're getting these curves along here, and then this is the easy bit really, because that's just a lovely gradual turn, so that's no problem at all. So that's how you're going to do that bit. And then when you've done all of that, oh, it's like Blue Peter, isn't it?
It is.
You've got this, which you can then peel off.
Oh, satisfying or what?
Hurrah!
Gorgeous.
You now have two choices, because we're now going to put this, you know how we showed those marks? We put these marks on here to show where it's going to go. Such things, Gemma, as your 1/4 inch tape or your Soline glue pen are really useful here. Really useful, because you can just baste it in place. Because with the best will in the world, once you've got all of your fabric scrunched up and you're sewing it on, it can move.
Yes, absolutely.
So I would really recommend basting it in place. Now, just bear in mind that if you do use the wash away quilter's tape, there will be some bits that are slightly more difficult to get your needle through.
Yes.
All right. This also works an absolute treat. It's just a matter of what you happen to have to hand. Now, where I wouldn't baste, weirdly, actually, is actually on those turns, because if you do want to needle turn and adjust in any way, if you've glued it down, you have, you know, there's a possibility of fray. So don't do that.
You want some iggly jiggliness, don't you, to it?
You want a bit of iggle jiggle. You're quite right.
To opch it.
There we go.
Required. Diane also says,
Hello,
from
Diane.
Melbourne,
Hello, Diane from Melbourne.
who was saying hello to all her new English
Hello,
friends.
hello.
What sort of temperature are you girls and guys having over in the UK this week? Here in Melbourne, it's 12 to 14 degrees. We are up near 30, aren't we?
Yesterday was 32.
It
Where
was.
I was. Don't know about you, Gemma.
Forecast to be 28 to 29 this week, all week. They never dare say it's going to be 30 plus, but it quite often does, you know, tip over that way when we do have a sunny
Sneak
spell.
over.
It does, but they
Yeah.
never say it's going to be, for fear of being wrong. We've not got the most predictable weather forecast.
We
have
do
quite
not.
often? So yes, it is quite warm. I mean, to you, Diane, that probably sounds like a lovely, slightly balmy summer day rather than a scorchio one.
Scorchio.
But over here, people are moaning a lot about the
Do you know what? It only needs to go over 20 degrees that
It really
people
does.
moan here,
They do.
don't they? Because we're not set up for it.
No.
We're not made for heat over
I
here.
just love the heat.
Huh?
Love the heat.
Yo, you are.
Really love the heat.
Now, you know how sometimes I get a little bit, my threads get a little bit tangled. Do you remember the top tip that there Jane gave us?
Ooh,
Do you remember?
no.
It is, just like thread your needle on. Done. Then run it down your thread. And then you're at the right end
Oh, yes.
for
So
it
you
to
know.
be the one that's not going to twist off.
That's right.
Which means that you can load up a whole load of needles if you've got lots of different needles and just run them down and take them off. Obviously, you know, run them all down,
Yes.
because if you cut them off and you've got like 6 needles on one piece, you can look a bit silly.
Oh,
You might cuss.
Fiona
slightly.
did answer your where are you off to, Fiona?
Oh, where are you off to,
She
Fiona?
says, trying to work out if I've been really bad in a previous life. I'm being sent to UAE, Qatar and Jordan, swapping 28-degree heat for hell's heat. Bless her. Oh, dear.
Oh, Fiona, Fiona, Fiona.
Bless her.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
Anne says, I'm always back to square one when I take the paper out.
Oh, so just make sure that you've really, really, really pressed it. That's why we use the seams flatter, whatever it is that, not seams, it's the flatter or your best press or whatever it is. Use that starch spray because it's going to really help. And then when you've taken it out, if you do feel like you're a little bit back to square one, and you can always just repress a little bit once the template's out, and it will kind of hold. So let's go in underneath here. I can
I
just
have
feel
tagged
it.
all the flatter in today's collection.
Did
for those
you?
of you
We
who
still got it on a bit of a
don't know.
deal.
Yes, we have, which is great. And we're actually quite low stock on this flatter
We
now.
are. Do you know, we had so
Had a
much,
right old
didn't we,
sort
to
out.
start off
Yes.
with. And it's just been so popular.
Incredibly popular.
And we were just really lucky to have it because we were struggling to get best press, because best press had been what we'd used for ages.
Yes.
And we were really struggling to get hold of it
We
during
love Best
lockdown.
Press, but crikey,
Getting hold of it was
difficult.
really,
Yeah.
really tricky. So we're going to go into the background fabric and along and just catch on that edge, and then come out directly opposite so you barely see your stitch, and then go along and then just come up on the edge. Can we see that? Or do we need to attempt to do this on a close up? Should we go close up?
Why not?
Yeah, go on, let's do
Why
it.
not?
Let's do it and see if it's going to love me or not. And this is where I look like a rubbish sewer, because it's actually quite difficult to sew waving stuff in midair.
This is where
Well,
you could do
give it a
like a
go.
nice embroidery hoop or something as well.
Well, yeah, you know, you can. So there's where my thread is coming out. I'm going to go in directly next to it into the background fabric, and then come up, just catching that edge, and out. Go back in. Now, how tight you want to do these, how close together, is entirely up to you, depending on how many little fingers are going to get in there, because this isn't a quilt that's going to be like washed a lot or anything like that, is it? So, you know, you can afford to. So going in right next to there, along and up. And when you get in the groove, it is quite quick to do. And you can barely see my stitches.
Lovely.
And that's you know, that's not taken much practice to get there. So, right, now, look at it, it's all coming together beautifully.
Oh.
The other thing that I would say is, and I wanted to do this so that you could see, I've done one, and you can see that my black is starting to fray, yeah? I would really recommend just getting along there with your pinking shears.
I love the bumbleberry. I think it looks great.
You love a good bumbleberry,
I
don't
do,
you?
but I really like the bumbleberry as part of the parasol. I think it looks fabulous.
It just gives a lovely texture.
It really does.
I went through all of our batiks going, meh. They just, because Lisa had used a batik, but it's like, hang on a minute.
Well, yeah, we looked at different options, didn't we?
We
But
went
we
through
felt
all the
bumbleberry looked
options
best.
in all the world, and then I had to put them all back on the shelves.
I'm glad you did. Can't have you leaving things all over the place.
Yeah, but I do. We all know that I do.
Well, yes. We're like, oh, she's left stuff everywhere again. It's almost like she thinks she owns the place.
I know. What a pain I am.
I love a good set of pinking shears, incidentally. Since I was a child, I've loved cutting with pinking
Oh,
shears.
me too. And I blame that their Blue Peter for that.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
think
always
so.
used to recycle their Christmas cards into like gift tags and stuff, didn't they? With pinking shears. And my grandma had a pair of pinking
Yeah.
shears. I inherited them, and I want to get them properly sharpened. And they
Nice.
still have, because she was a seamstress. They still have. She'd put wadding on and stitched it around the thumb,
Nice.
where obviously was a little bit uncomfortable for her. So I still have all of that.
So they'll be dead comfy now.
Well, they will be, but they're
Oh, well
just
done,
also
her.
blunt as a badger's
Knee.
And, knee. That's it. They have very blunt knees.
Very, very, blunt knees.
Thank you, Gemma. You save me a lot.
I am your wingman.
You are my wing woman. There you are. For which we're all very grateful.
Oh, Claire Angelina thought that she was made for the heat because she was brought up in that there 50-degree heat in the Middle East.
No,
I mean, that
thank
does
you.
make our temperatures seem a little bit chilly. Perhaps
I
pop a
think
cardigan.
you get used to it.
You
I
must
think
do.
your blood actually thins, they reckon,
Yes.
don't they?
Yeah, and there absolutely, and you adjust to the temperature because your blood. It's all to do with whether your blood goes up to the surface and cools your skin, or that's why you get
Yeah.
goose pimples.
Yeah.
That's what that's all about. It's trying to regulate your temperature through the epidermis.
But also, yeah, but you know, you also get goosebumps and stuff because of the hair. I mean, this is I mean, I'm a bit of a horse geek, and I keep all of mine naturally. And I was explaining to someone the other day because they were saying, "Well, don't you have lots of blankets and rugs for your horses?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not.
They know how to
They
regulate
live
their
out
temperature.
24/7 unrugged. What, even when it snows? Like, especially when it snows." I'm just going to geek out here for a minute because if you think about it, you put a rug on, they can't regulate their legs.
No.
They can't
No.
actually regulate their body, and every single hair. This blew my mind when I found out. Every single hair on a horse's body, and I'm guessing this is the same with any animal, has got an erector muscle,
Yeah.
which means that they can adjust
Yeah.
the angle of every single
Yeah.
fur.
Same with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On their body.
Erector pili muscle.
Yeah, which will then trap enough air to act as insulation. And of course, you go through rugs, blankets, everything else. It's any muscle, use it or lose it.
Yeah.
And then they can't regulate, but they also can't regulate their legs. They can't regulate like just their legs.
No.
They can't. So then you get leg injuries and everything else and da 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 da.
I've never
So-
seen such happy, healthy horses as yours.
Which, given that they are retirement,
Yeah, no,
yeah, they come to
frolic
honestly.
about
They
like-
do. They
like
come to me
babies.
for retirement, and like Inga's horse, she said to me, "Oh, he'll probably only be there a couple of months." This is how I met Inga. She said, "He'll probably only be with you a couple of months because he's come to you just to retire, so he can just have a couple of months retirement and live it out." 3.5 years. 3.5 years he was with me, merrily cantering around the place.
He really was.
Having a lovely time. And the number of horses that come to me is, I think at one point I had 90% of them there were vet and insurance write-offs. And and the number of horses that have come back into work because they've been kept naturally
Yeah.
and been able to heal themselves has been phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
God love them.
It's my little passion. Someone said to me the other day, if you won the lottery, what would you do? And I'm like, I would set up a proper, because I keep them on a track system. It's very different to other people, and it looks a bit funny, and I get funny looks. Do I care? No. Are the horses happy? Yes.
Very.
Yeah. Well, you take the one that came to me last year,
Holly.
Yeah.
Bless her.
Her insurance had run out. The vets told them to put her to sleep, and she was labelled as dangerous. My 3-year-old
So
stuffs
sweet.
her pockets full of hay, gives them to this dangerous horse, and climbs up on her bareback.
She is absolutely the sweetest horse.
Sweetest horse. It's just how you keep them. It's like dangerous dogs. It's the other end of the lead.
Yeah.
Anyway, off my soapbox. Let's have a look at this.
It's all good.
So,
Looking great, by the way.
got a bit involved there. Sorry, everybody. But yeah, I will bore anyone to bits if they ever want to know anything more about it. But that is what I would do. I would absolutely change the way that the world views horse keeping. Right, what am I going to do now, Gemma? I've put my marks on here. I'm going to stitch it in. So we're going to come up. We are going to go in. Now, we are going to do a stem stitch. So actually I need to swivel this around. I can never remember until I get going with stem stitch what I'm doing.
Don't you find that with a lot of things that you don't do all the time?
Apart from I've spent my whole weekend doing it. And even then I get like, what am I doing? So I'm going to come up. And then you're going to come back halfway. No, you're going to go back there. And then go past a little bit. Is that right? Have I done that the right way around? No, I haven't done that the right way around. No. Hang on. Don't listen to me. Do you know what? I've got a complete mental block on this.
It's all right.
I did this before we
Have
came
a
to
minute.
wear.
We have got some messages. I can just,
Fabulous. You
those.
do that.
Lovely Karen Hughes.
Lovely Karen Hughes.
Who has been making the most amazing things.
What has she been
Double
making?
quick speed. So Karen has put it on Facebook and has shown it to everybody, but she brought a rather fabulous bundle of fabulous capes.
Oh, she did. She brought all the capes in all the world. Fabulous.
She's already made with it a picnic blanket for the garden, a matching cushion, and she made herself a bag that's lined with some fabulous grunge, and she's made herself a sun hat.
Amazing.
I mean, Claire Angelina put it best, saying, do you ever sleep? Because this was all within 24 hours done.
Sleep
Quilt
is for
cushion.
the week.
Yeah, all of that.
Do you know what,
The whole
Gem?
lot.
The minute I actually stopped thinking about what I'm doing, I've just gone straight into doing it.
Perfect. Do you want to explain it then before you forget?
Yeah.
Trying to explain something.
I know, I was thinking about it too hard, way too hard.
All of that.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to here and then go back halfway. And then you have to decide which side you want the rest of your thread to lie.
Nice.
I'm going to have it on the outside here. So you go up, you come back halfway. Make sure your thread is there.
Lovely.
You can just hold it there with your thumb if you want. It's a bit quicker. So in, halfway and along.
Gorgeous.
And so when I'm not trying to explain it, it happens naturally.
You can do it, yeah.
And but the thing that I would really recommend is making sure you've got those lines drawn, and don't pull it too tight, and just stick along those lines. Make them as big or as small as you want. This is where you get to choose, but you can really rack it along a little bit now. And there you go. You're getting those lines in nice and swiftly.
It's like anything though, isn't it? You can, lots of people can do things, create things, but being able to teach it's a different thing. You know, and the minute you've got to explain it to someone, something that you do
I
naturally.
just had a complete mental block.
Yeah, no. Well,
And
the
it-
first
yeah.
teaching job I went for, they gave us all something stupid, really silly, that you would do automatically, and got us to do a presentation on how to do the thing. So the first stage, we had to write down on our application papers how to tie your shoelaces. So you had to assume at zero level of knowledge, write down to how to make a loop and all of this sort of thing.
Oh gosh.
Because you can't just say make a loop, because if they don't know how to
What
make
is
a
a
loop,
loop?
so you
That
had
is the
to
thing.
break it all down and explain
Yeah.
how to tie your shoelaces. Really difficult. But then my actual presentation piece I had to do was how to set an alarm. I think I lucked out. There were some people that got how to blow out a candle.
Oh,
All
wow.
sorts of things.
But there it
but
is.
It is that whole, the minute you've got to break it down and explain it to someone, something you do naturally, suddenly, hang on, I don't know how to do this anymore.
Yeah, you just have a complete mental block. But there it is, and you can just see that it just gives that lovely line
Gorgeous.
along there. And what I really like about how Lisa's done this is that you've got the full lines going through there, but on here you've just got a running stitch, like a sashiko
Nice.
stitch. So let's
Lovely.
just pop that in there, finish that off there.
Gives a
'Cause you
softer
get-
effect, doesn't it, when it's just the running stitch?
Yeah, absolutely.
Really nice.
Absolutely.
So yeah, lovely Karen in Wigan has been very busily
Well done,
making as
Karen.
usual. But she says it's super hot there in Wigan. Hubby's not a happy bunny. He's
Oh.
been called for jury service, so he's
Ooh.
going to be stuck in court for the next 2 weeks.
No.
It's like a bear with a sore head, apparently.
Off. Right, let's talk threads, shall we? Embroidery skeins, because you're going to use one. So here it is. Find your end. Give it a little tug and take some out.
Lovely.
Gemma, how many of these have you got in a right old pickle
Oh
with?
yeah, had
Yeah.
to take the little paper bits off. And just
Yeah.
swear at it a bit and then give up.
Right, exactly. And in a previous time, it would look like that
Yeah,
before you've even
like
started.
a cat's been at it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And probably they have, because they probably found it fun. And now you want to just separate it out a little bit. Right, now, how many of us in the past have gone, right, I need 2 strands,
Yeah.
and just try, oh, okay, so this time it did pull it out, and tried to pull it out and it would clump, like it would clump really badly, right?
Yeah.
Just take one and just tease it out. Just take one at a time, and then you don't get that bulking. The last ones you luck out, because obviously you've only got 2 left, right? That was a fluke.
I was going to say, how smug would you have felt?
I
in those
know.
circumstances?
It's the thing that you would never dare do in a demo, because you know you'd end up with a clump, and it's only when, maybe I should do that all the time.
Had you not wanted to show
No, I know.
that it was a really silly thing to do, you'd have actually been really pleased with that
I
as
know.
a result.
So, I've got my applique needle here. You can thread 2 needles, 2 loops through there. It's going to work at some point. Or if you've got one of the needle threaders, I always think black is big, the 2 B's,
Yes.
and you just have a little push through there. Pull the needle up, make sure you've got to drop that needle in straight.
Yes.
But then you just tease that through, and that's done the job for you.
It's so clever.
Now, the other thing that you can do is, because we're going to work with 2 strands here, is you can just use one and then just double it up all the way through. What this gives me is more stitching time.
Yes.
That's what this is going to give me. Okay. And then just I just knot it a few times. You don't have to, but you can. So we do have some of those needle threaders. They're great. The white end is for smaller needles. I mean, obviously there is a limit to the eye size. I think, I'm not sure where it says it. Let's just have a look at the running stitch for this. I will make one of these in just one moment, but whilst we've got everything about our personage, let's have a look at that. So we'll get our template, we will get our copy paper. Again, if you want to make a template, then do. And line up end. Got to go on the diagonal on these, Gem, because they're quite big. And just have a little feel of the end. Or photocopy it again and cut it out and lay it exactly over the top. You can do that too. So you've got that option, like so, or where was my other one? Here we go. Or you can do it with template plastic, which is a little less wieldy. And where is my pen? Pen, Gemini, where is my... Here it is.
I knew you were going to find it at some point.
Hmm?
I knew you'd find it at some point.
Yeah.
Do you know, in the west of Scotland, they're not joining the heat wave of the south? Karen tells me, Karen Sanders, she says, it's 19 degrees here with thin grey cloud cover.
Oh, that's no fun, is it? So, from here, I've got my line marked on. I'm going to do this like a Sashiko running stitch. Okay, if you've got Sashiko needles, they're longer and they're great, and you can load up the stitches.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make the ones that are going to show longer, and then the ones behind shorter.
Clever.
So longer and then shorter. But you can sort of load them up so that you can see that you're getting similar kind of bits of needle showing.
Perfect. Oh, Karen Hughes is a Flatter fan. She says, oh yes, get your Flatter girls and boys. The product is fabulous and smells divine.
Well, it does, and I don't know if we really lucked out getting a job lot with that stuff,
quite.
which is why we've managed to bring it to you at the prices that we have.
Exactly.
These little bottles should be retailing at £10, and we have brought you them at silly prices because we want you to have it.
Yeah.
You know, there's no point in it sitting on our shelves, us knowing that we've got a great product.
We won't have it again at
We
that
won't have it
price.
again, and we certainly won't have it at that price.
No.
So just be really aware of that and make the most of it, because when it's gone, it's gone. Yeah. So you can just start to see loading up shorter, longer, and on that line that we've just used our copy paper for, to trace on. And the thing is, if you've traced them all on, then you just go along and then underneath go through and then come back up the other side. That's what I did. And so you'll get all of those on, which will then look like so. Right, what else do I need to show you? Okay, so yes, so the making of, do I need to keep these? Keep those safely there. Here we go. What did I do with my excess? Oh, Gem, I've lost it. Here we go. Right. I've lost the plot. This is my bamboo inner. There it is. And again, I traced this onto my freezer paper. And I traced it, actually what I did was I traced it on before I put the second layer on, because it's easier to see through. And again, I've used my pinking shears all the way around there and down this stem. Now you've got a choice with this, because you can actually open that up and machine stitch one side down and then fold it over and then needle turn the other side. I haven't, I've needle turned the whole lot. But just to show you with this, you can use your templates more than once. And again, if you want to take note of any kind of direction, it's pretty directionless, but if you want to, then do pop your paper under there. So it'll do 2, maybe 3 goes. So you might get away with just using one template, to be honest, which would be rather fabulous, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Just leave yourself enough room to make sure that you're going to get a you've got enough seam allowance. And this is the one that I would absolutely use your pinking shears for down the sides of those stems. Absolutely. Okay, and so just cut it out exactly the same as we did with the other, snipping in there and there, mitering the edges off there, snip, 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 snip along there, and then exactly as we did this one, and you will be fine. Now, same thing applies, right? You can either put all your detailing on before you stitch it down, or you can stitch it down and add it on afterwards. But this is going to stitch, look, we've marked it on there. That's going to sit in there. Now, these do a funny thing. Okay. And you can, I've stitched it down to there, so I've stitched that part down, and then this is just basted with my sew line, so that I can, when I get to my second one, pop it under. And so I would do the same. I would stitch all of that down to there, baste that in place, and then with my third one, you know, pop it under or over or wherever I need it to go, and then they're knotted in, they're twisted in, and that just looks rather special, and then I'd sew it down. So that would be my advice to you, and that is everything that you need for this first block.
Lovely.
Oh, apart from, no, I lie. Gemma, I lie. I absolutely lie. I haven't made this. Right, let's show you that. Oh, my goodness, I'm so sorry. Right. You are going to place your fabric right sides together. Now, I had my template, didn't I? So I like to, if I've used my template for one, I want to use it for all of them, so I've got that consistency, that continuity. If I can find the wretched thing. What did I do with it?
It's all right. While you're searching, we did have lovely Julia France say, has anyone seen my Fiskars rotary cutter? I think it may be with your Sharpies, Tash.
Oh, is it? There.
And with your pen as well, you know, I think they're all together having a fabulous
Having a
time.
fabulous party somewhere. Yeah, right. That's so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
I'm looking
Make
on
a
the floor.
template. It's see-through. Oh, here it is.
Visible templates.
Visible templates, that's what we like. So, as we were, making sure that when I make the template, the rough side is down. Getting my pen. Let me find a pen that hopefully will show up.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
I'm going to use a biro just so you guys can see. Right, now, the thing to remember is that we've got our fabrics right sides together. They are going to stay that way. We're not going to cut this out yet. When we go to the sewing machine, this is the only bit that is sewn. You could stitch it by hand if you wish, but this is the only bit that is sewn with a sewing machine on this block. I can't believe I nearly forgot to show you this. Oop. Don't move your...
So the majority of it really is a lovely portable project, isn't it? There's only a very small amount of sewing.
And I did, because I was here, there and everywhere this weekend, so I did make sure that I had it prepped to take bits with me so that I could stitch bits.
Perfect.
So I'm just going to put pins in around it. We're going to sew all the way around.
Lovely.
Okay, so don't shout at me that we need to turn through a gap, because we don't. Normally I do, but on this project I don't. I'm going to make sure that my needle is in the middle. I'm going to start midway on the gentle curve just to get used to it, and I'm going to take my my stitch down to about a 2mm length. Okay, and then away we go.
Doesn't matter how many times I sit in the same room as a Juki, and I have one myself now. They're just so lovely and quiet.
They really are, aren't they? I am a little bit mesmerised just because I am trying to concentrate.
Yeah, of course.
And I've got this set so that my foot will come up. And so this is where, pretty sure I've probably got, I got a clearer foot anywhere. Ah. Yes, I have. Ooh. Ah. No, take that out. Right, don't, honestly, if you can avoid doing this, just go in properly in the first place. There we go. I'm just going to see if that's going to absolutely, I might just, look, I've bent it, look, I've bent my needle. Can you see?
Oh.
That caught on something, so I'm going to change that straight away. Just make sure you got the right foot on before you start.
I would.
Yeah.
Just to avoid, you know.
It just dawned on me as I was doing it that
Potential
actually
issues.
what might have been a really good idea would have been, oh, you know.
Very lucky you've got your big box O needles, isn't it?
Well, that's just where I'm going to
Now, these have been really, really popular, and I had a restock of them last week. However, we had a notification through from our supplier that they were only sending some of what I ordered.
Oh no!
Because we bought the last of their stock. I need to check with them when those will be back in. But I never like anyone to be disappointed. So if it is something that you've been on the fence about, getting one of these lovely big packs of needles, 100 needles.
100!
Then, you know, if you do want one or need one, I just don't want anyone having spendthrift's remorse. It's way worse than buyer's remorse.
Spendthrift's remorse.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's not a pretty.
It's no fun.
Pretty state of affairs, is it?
So yes, if you do want some, need some, can afford some, all of that.
Well, yeah. And that's
really,
just it.
really
Don't
soft.
sew with a bent needle. For goodness
No,
sakes, don't
no.
sew with a bent needle.
I've lost count of the number of times that I've been doing something, got really cross. Even if the needle doesn't look bent,
Yeah.
I've finally, after trying everything else, changed the needle, and oh look, it starts working beautifully
But
again.
it's also one of those things, if you've had to fight your thread at any point and tug your thread through at any point, there is a chance that you have bent that needle.
Yes.
You know, or if you're an idiot and try and change your foot halfway through rather than just stopping and starting again,
Yeah.
then there is a chance. So it just, for the sake of a couple of seconds, it's only because that foot for some reason is a little bit sticky. Can't
Pat's
quite
just
see through
asking
it.
if we could get size 70, please. Pat, I will check.
We'll
if
have a
we can
look.
get 70s,
Why not?
I will absolutely get 70s for you.
Right, so as we jolly well were.
We do have little leaflets actually that come with them, and I've managed to get some of those too. So if you get a little leaflet in with and you see something that you might want to purchase and we don't currently stock it, give us a shout. I know there's special needles for embroidery machines, things like that. We could get these in as a special requirement if you ask. I don't think they do a 70.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't be too sure. This
That
is much
particular
easier.
brand.
I can actually see.
If they do, it's
Where
not
I'm going.
currently in stock, so we'll find out from the supplier if they do.
Cool. So around we jolly well go. There we are. Can you hear there's a slight difference in the noise to my machine? Can you
Yeah.
hear it?
I can. What's it doing?
There is a real temptation to just carry on sewing because it's all going swimmingly, and I just checked the stitch and yep, it's stitching beautifully. But I paid a lot of money for
Sound
my
right, does it?
machine, and you know, yes, it might be doing that, but know your machine.
Yeah.
There is something that is not right. In the first place, I've just changed the needle, so it's very unlikely to be the needle. But what I will do is rethread it as just like one of those things to do. It's like an oil and filter, isn't it?
Yeah.
And do you remember, if you hold this here, if you hold your thread, then you're making sure it's going up into those tensioners, yeah? Gary spoke about that, didn't he, the other day? especially when winding your bobbin.
Yes.
Very important. And so it's just, you know, yes, I could probably have got round. And when I come back, you've got a choice. You can either do like a triple stitch, holding stitch, or reverse stitch. It's still making that noise. Is it the foot? What's going on? Because I can't see anything else that's different. So just have a little investigation. And see what's what. It is, isn't it? It's still making that noise. Right. I will investigate after the show.
Yes.
If I wasn't doing the show, I would stop and sort that out.
This is where I whip everything out, bobbin.
Oh, the whole lot.
threads,
And have it,
turn
give it
it
a little
off.
clean.
Leave it for, give it a good clean. Leave it for half an hour. Have a brew, come back, thread it back up.
A little bit of oil on all the moving parts. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. Just like Gary showed us the other day.
Yep.
And that's what I would do. However, we've got a show to do.
We have.
So in this instance, it's a do as I
Yeah, definitely
say,
do
not
as
as
I
I
say.
do. But, you know, it might have been that that could have been easily solved. Still stitching, an absolute dream.
Of course it is.
There we go. Right. So there we have it. I'm going to pinking shear around that. It's a bit like when you make the tilde monkeys and you pinking shear because you don't want it fraying and you want to be able to get in nice and close. So I'm going to go around that, pinking shear around that. And you might be saying, but Natasha. Or as one of the little special needs kids that I used to teach, he was very, very autistic. He was just gorgeous. Natasha was always Natasha. Yes. He was quite interested in my white goods.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Natasha. Do you have a tumble dryer? Yes, I do. How many spins a minute does it do? I had to bone up on all of my
White good knowledge.
white good knowledge.
Yeah.
I didn't know, but he wanted to know. He wanted every detail. He had the most incredible brain, that child.
Mm-hmm.
He could remember dates like you just.
Oh, amazing.
I mean, I struggle to remember my name some days.
Yes.
And he could remember dates of everything that happened and what date it was exactly.
Oh, that's incredible, isn't it?
What a guy. Now, with your little tiny snips, you're going, well, not with them, part the fabric, and then on one side, you're going to snip in near the top. And where you have made that snip, because I just did, make yourself turning through gap. Now bear in mind we're going to Sashko stitch all through this, so don't worry about it because it will basically be mended with your Sashko stitch, because what is Sashko? It is a mending stitch. It was originally what it was created for. There we are. And then with whatever you're turning it through with, just run it along that seam and give it a little press as you do so, would be my advice, because that's going to start giving you those waves. And then when you've turned it all through and you've done all of that, then you will have that. And that's got my turning through gap on the back there. There it is. Eee.
Karen's given us an update on her hubby. They've all been kicked out of court because of the heat.
Yay!
And Diane is asking, should one of the pieces of that top that you're doing now be red and one be the yellow flowering gum as it's meant to be the underside of the parasol?
No.
Okay.
Goodo. No. And, well, I mean, you can if you want to, but Lisa didn't.
Lisa didn't.
She didn't. No. No. But you can if you want. I mean, that's a lovely idea for attention to detail, but I didn't. Lisa didn't. But it doesn't mean to say that you can't. Do you know what? This is a beautiful thing. There's no right or wrong with this.
You could do that.
You could do that, and that would be really lovely.
For the whole, yeah.
You know,
I understand the want to do that. Makes sense. If you've got enough fabric, make sure you've got all your other bits cut from that.
yeah,
first.
cut
If
the
you've got
other
enough
bits
fabric,
first.
Then why not?
Yeah, no, I hadn't even, do you know what, that hadn't even occurred to me.
She's got a very valid point there.
Well,
And it would
you
look
know,
great.
maybe. But then I'm not sure if it's that their perspective.
No.
But
Claire
either way.
Angelina's saying that her next order from us will be wash away quilters tape. She said she used some DIY double-sided tape for a zip, and whilst it did work a treat, it gunked up her needle so much that she ended up having to get a new needle.
Yep.
Waste of money then, isn't it? You know, sometimes we frugal, and we will always bring to air the proper frugals.
We will frugal. We are like the
Oh,
frugaling
yeah.
queens.
We don't recommend you buy something if it's not necessary.
No. We're not that channel. We don't do that.
We will tell you if there is a frugally thing to do. We will tell you. But yeah, things like the wash away tape, worth their weight in gold.
Well, you know, it is. Because if it saves you time, effort and money, you know, then it saved you money, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't buy time, but you can buy time-saving devices.
Absolutely. Silver Sparkly says that the 100 pack of needles is the best way to go. Yeah. Ali B says, good morning. Sorry I'm late,
Ali.
but a friend dropped in for coffee.
How very dare they?
Rude.
Did they not know? Did they not know?
Anne is asking if there's some fluff in the way in your machine. And
I'm gonna have
possibly
a full investigation.
Oh, good look.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, that'll teach me, won't it, to just
Definitely.
not change things properly.
Truth. And Claire Angelina says, your machine sounds like Nunu the vacuum cleaner. I loved Nunu.
Who was Nunu?
In the Teletubbies. Nunu was the vacuum cleaner. Oh, so sweet.
I managed to avoid the Teletubbies.
Such a great name, though. Nunu. Just sounds like a vacuum cleaner, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's true.
Gorgeous.
Nothing sounds quite like my vacuum cleaner. Lovely Penny has broken another one.
Oh, no, she is the vacuum cleaner
She
destroyer.
is. She really is.
Claire Angelina is
Love
saying,
her.
to be fair, the double-sided tape was for another project and I gave it a go. You know, always give this thing a go. But,
Oh yeah, no. And
you
then
live,
you realise
you
that
learn, and
yeah.
then when you buy your wash-away tape, you won't feel better
you'll be
about
good to
it.
go. Yeah.
Because you'll know it's a necessity.
Right, there it is. There it is, ready to go. So I've got all my bits.
Gorgeous.
And now I just need to sit down and stitch. And that is what I'm going to do in sunshine.
Oh,
So there we go. That is today's show. And that is your very first block. This will be going out on. Let's get this right. What have you got my calendar? Yeah, you've got my calendar down there to the side. Down to the side, maybe.
I do not see it.
Oh.
I see it not.
Oh. I've put it
No.
somewhere safe.
You have. It's probably in the other room. You were charging around doing many fabulous
I was.
things.
But there will be a set day of the month that this will go out on. And if you read in newsletters, SJ will let you know when she wakes up what that is.
You mean each day of each month we'll be
Yeah.
doing it on the same day? Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So
So that
in
you've got like a
theory,
destination time. So
this
that you
should
don't
have
get
launched last Monday.
But it
and
didn't
it's
arrive.
Scheduled into the first Monday of the month.
First Monday of the month.
That's
so
where
that's
we
when it's
scheduled
going to
it.
be scheduled for. And is. It's just that they were still playing silly whatevers over actually getting it to us.
Yes.
And actually it worked really well because John Cole Morgan was meant to be in today.
He
but obviously
was.
he is still recovering from COVID. So lots of love to you.
Yes.
And I hope that you feel better. And so it worked. It all works out
It
in the
did,
end.
and we have rescheduled John. We're hoping he will be well enough to be with us
Is it
in a
next
fortnight.
Fortnight time,
Yeah.
2 weeks time, yeah.
So that's pushing that block back by 2 weeks. But
So we
his
haven't
usual
forgotten about
home-
it.
No,
Don't worry.
his usual home with us being the second Monday of the month.
Yes.
That will still apply for August. So
Yes.
you'll have him here, hopefully, if he's well enough, in 2 weeks' time. And then he'll be back 2 weeks after that, on the 8th of August. So it'll be, fabulous to have him with us that much.
There we go. Perfect.
There you go.
So get your parasols, get stitching. Are you going to make the quilt? Are you going to make it as? Don't forget to get your instructions as well. They are separate.
Yeah,
because some of
gorgeous
you will want to
wall
use your own
hanging
fabrics,
or
and we get that.
Wall
Cushion,
hanging,
bag,
cushion, bag
lovely.
front. Oh,
Gorgeous. There we go.
Love it.
All right, then we will see you here tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And thank you very much for joining us. And we will see you then with, well, I've got to go and make it, but something fabulous with
Wild Iris.
Wild Iris.
Wild Iris.
Very
Who sounds
pretty.
like someone fabulous you'd want to go and have a beer with in a bar. In
Wild
America.
Iris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be playing with Wild Iris tomorrow.
I'd want to go out for a drink with her.
Yeah, well, let's
Get
do
to
it.
meet her tomorrow, guys.
Yay! All right. Oh, hang on. All I see. Well, yes, Diane. When you get up close,
Let's not read that
so
one
much.
out.
All right, then. I will see you. Read messages before you start reading them out.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Bye-bye.